Hello my friends, and welcome back for week 3 of this rock tumbling adventure. This is it, the final week where everything should hopefully be polished. This bad boy's been cranking out 24/7 again for another 7 full days, and we're ready to open it up and see the goodies that are inside. Alright, so let's head over to the old kitchen sink and pop this bad boy open and see all the goodies that are inside. If you really like this kind of content, be sure to consider hitting that subscribe button. It really helps this channel grow. Alright guys, let's crack this thing open. Oh boy, I am just super excited about today. Can't wait to get this open. So I got our barrel here. Let's get this thing open. So it held up pretty well. No leaks, it's always a good sign throughout the week. Ooh, and that's just how you like to see your aluminum oxide. So see how it's all bubbly and soapy looking? By the end of the week, this is always a good sign that you added the right amount to your mixture, and everything should hopefully have gone out pretty well. Look at this guy. I can tell he's already shined up already. A little bit of water on that. Oh, that is one of my fire agates that is so beautiful. Alright. Let me wash my hand real quick here. There we go. I got my strainer, and sometimes I cheap out and I actually like to reuse this stuff. That's why my barrels sit for so long, but I can't do that this time. So all we're gonna do now is just take this barrel, dump it in there like that. You're gonna have a whole bunch of stuff sticking at the bottom. And there we are. I got my drain plugged up on there. Again, like I said last week, you don't want this stuff going down your drain, because you'll have some really bad times on your hands. And I mean really bad times if this stuff gets stuck in your pipes. So gotta be careful with that. We'll give this a good washing. Alright guys, so there we can call this project done. Except for, I like to do one final step. These are really shiny already. They haven't even dried, you can just tell how shiny they are. This is, oh, that one's so beautiful. But basically what I'm going to do is I'm going to put these all back in this barrel here, which is going to be kind of a challenge here in the camera because I don't have a funnel to really get these into. But for any time I do cabochons or something I want to be extra shiny and just really super clean, I will actually re-put these back in the barrel, and I will do a final step which is called burnishing. And that's going to get all of this aluminum oxide off. It's going to add an extra shine to your gemstones and rocks and whatever else you've got. Oh wow, look at that. Oh my goodness. Whoa, that one was cool. So we're just going to carefully add some of this back in here. Try and make sure you get all your rocks. Doesn't have to be too perfect. That almost looks like the little guy that was stuck at the bottom of the barrel last week that just didn't want to go back in. You're a feisty little guy, aren't you? Alright. So what we're basically going to do is refill this thing up with water again. Not too much, because this is going to get out of control really quick. And what I use is just some liquid soap. I usually use this blue kind, which is made by Dawn. You add a couple drops, but I usually just pump this thing full of some stuff there. And that will actually act as the lubricant. Let's take a couple of this little bit of water out. Yeah, it's always hard to save those beads though. There, that looks a lot better. What the heck? So you gotta be careful with this step. So you add too much soap. You know how soap turns into bubbles and fizzes? It usually causes the barrel to start to swell up, especially at the bottom side. So you want to keep an eye on that as this thing's tumbling. The nice thing about this is we don't have to let it sit for another full week. It really only needs an hour, maybe 2. 3 would be the most I would recommend. Depends on the type of rocks you're burnishing. You don't need anything too crazy though, thankfully, which is always a bonus. We are almost done, so I'm just gonna let this run for another hour. I'm gonna take this back to the tumbler right now. All right, guys, so we're back at the tumbler here. One last time, we're gonna take this here barrel. We're just gonna toss it right back into here and let her run for about an hour. That's gonna get that soap all foaming around and cleaning up those rocks and getting all the aluminum oxide off there and making it look beautiful, nice and clean. So see you in just about an hour. All right, that sure was a quick hour, wasn't it? Let's head over to the kitchen sink and dump this thing out. All right, let's do this. You kind of see on the bottom how it started to puff up. That thing is all sudsed out. Really nice thing too is this also helps clean your barrel, so you've got a really nice squeaky clean barrel now. Even has that nice Dawn Fresh scent to it. Look at that, nice and clean and beautiful. Set that right here for now and move this out of the way. Alright, so what I'm going to do now is I'm going to pick each one of these out one by one, let them dry out, and I will show you guys just what we got. Look at that little guy. Ooh, he's so slippery because they are really shiny. Could still be some residue of soap too, but they always slip around. Look at that little itty bitty piece of yellow jasper. That is so cool. Oh man, and this has got to be my favorite so far that I've seen. But look at that. Oh, I'll show you guys that in just a second up closer. So I've taken them over to my drying mat here, and let's get some of these things out. Oh boy. This is like the reveal. This is like the best time ever when you've been waiting weeks, and then the fruits of your labor, or at least your patience, because the tumbler did all the work all this time, finally pays off for you. Yeah, sometimes these little beads like to stick to these while they're still wet. That one kind of looks like a jelly bean. That one's beautiful. Oh wow. That'll focus in. Just look at that. Jasper, and it's got a band of hematite just running right through it. Oh, that one is so beautiful. Oh, whoa, check this one out. Look at that fire agate. Oh, that is just so beautiful. Look at that. Whoa. Oh, this one's neat. I have a video that shows you how to make this cabochon here. This is one of those payson agates that I found. I'll put a link in the description for that video, guys, if you're interested on that. That is cool. I like how that one turned out. Oh. Some more of those buffer jelly bean ones. Oh man, and check this piece out. Oh, what a beauty. Just look at that. Wow. Oh boy, that is a neat one. This is a really neat piece of yellow jasper. You can see it's got some veins of red jasper in it. A little bit of hematite too. The streaks on that are just so pretty. One final step. I know you guys thought that was the last step, running it through with the soap. You see those little white specks in there? Basically what that is, it is the aluminum oxide that's been smashed into little cracks and crevices in the rocks. And when it dries, it's gonna leave that residue. You can definitely see it right there. So if I got that wet again, it's gonna go away. So what I've got to do now is I've got a sonic tank cleaner. I'm gonna go fill that up and dump these rocks in there for one last thing and really blast that powder out of those crevices. All right, we're over here at the sonic tank cleaner. This is just a cheap one I got at Harbor Freight a long time ago. It's probably on its last legs, unfortunately. It's seen so much use. It has a use for everything, not just rocks, but anything really. All right, set that over there. We'll get this thing running. You can hear it buzzing now. Usually it's ideal to do this right after you get them out of the barrel, because once that stuff starts to harden, it turns to concrete pretty quick. So I'm gonna let this run for just a little bit here. And as you're running it, you're just gonna wanna constantly shuffle these rocks around, maybe even take them and flip them upside down to make sure this sonic tank cleaner hits them at all different angles. All right, well there we have it. What a fun and exciting adventure. Welcome my little friends into the world, all shiny and beautiful. Just look at these beautiful rocks. Aren't they beautiful? Wow. I don't know, some of those fire agates really might be stealing the show in this pile here, but there's a lot of beauties. I got some yellow jaspers, some banded jasper here, a little bit of obsidian. This little guy is a little piece of yellow jasper. Alright guys, so there you go. Thanks for joining me on this crazy adventure as I showed you how I go through the different steps of polishing up my cabochons down over here. Aren't these beautiful? Oh, I have a feeling I'm going to be staring at these for a few hours. They're so unique, and each one of them has its own special characteristic. I just love these things. Wow. Well, if you're interested, I also do other videos on how to polish up rocks, a lot of lapidary, and even exploring the old Arizona desert, rock hounding, and looking for the rocks that I polish up. There's always something crazy out there to see. Well guys, thanks again for joining me on this adventure. Till next time.